All right, so our next specific health behavior of young people that we're looking at is alcohol and alcohol usage. All right, so what is alcohol usage when we're talking about as a health issue? It is consumption of alcohol at levels that can cause immediate harm, all right, binge drinking is commonly known as, or just long-term health consequences from regular drinking. So some key stats related to alcohol is that 30% of 18 to 24-year-olds will consume at risky levels weekly. And by risky levels, we count that as greater than 10 standard drinks, all right? Now, 10 standard drinks sort of sounds like a lot, okay? But hear me out, it's not really that much, all right? If we look at something that teenagers would regularly consume, which is most teenagers are doing some sort of pre-mixed drink, like a can of like bourbon and Coke, or, you know, like a vodka and something, okay? That's generally what most teenagers err towards, okay? So if you go to Dan Murphy's and you get a 6-pack of like cans of bourbon and Coke, or even if you went to got hard solos or something and you got like a 6-pack of those, okay? That doesn't seem like a lot of drinks, all right? It's just 6, it's just one night out, okay? One night a week, so it might be like a Friday night or a Saturday night. But if you look at the standard drinks on those drinks, most of them are ranging between about 1.6 to 2 standard drinks each. So just in one night, over the course of the night, if you drink all 6 of them, then you've had your 10 or 12 standard drinks, and by definition, that is binge drinking, okay? And that has and can cause immediate health effects in a negative way, all right? But it's not all bad news. So nearly 3/4, as of the latest data, of 14 and 17 Australian-year-olds have never had a drink, which is great. This is actually increasing, all right? There are more people in that sort of teenage category under the age of 18 that haven't drunk before, all right? They don't really have data on 12 and 13-year-olds because they sort of just assume that 12-year-olds and 30-year-olds don't drink. We obviously know that's not true in all cases, but this is where the largest data set will lie, all right? So that's great, all right? So if you look at a class, you know, class of year 10 or a class of year 11 who are watching this video, you look around the room, you've got 20 people in the room, 15 of you, according statistically, have never actually had an alcoholic beverage. Good job. And that is trending, binge drinking is trending downwards. So this is good stuff, all right? So people are getting the message, and it's mainly not really about the kids getting the message, it's about the parents, because generally when you're at this age category, or even when you first turn 18, you don't have a lot of money. You don't have disposable income to go and spend on alcohol. It's up to you going to your parents, be like, hey, I'm going to my, you know, friend's 18th tonight, and I'm already 18, so I can drink and whatever, and he's 18. Can you get me some drinks? And a lot of the time the parents will be like, yeah, but maybe they'll limit it to like, you know, just 3 or 4 drinks, or a couple even, all right? Which is good. So this is good. This is all good news. So the causes of the people that are doing the bad stuff, all right? Peer pressure is still the biggest cause, all right? Social norms and like to fit in. And then I wrote this little comment here. If you think about it, alcohol is the only drug in the world. It's the only drug in the world that if you don't consume it, like over the age of 18, you're weird, all right? This isn't like true. I'm not saying to go and consume alcohol, for the record. But if you are like 18, 19, 20 and you go out to a party for the night and, you know, everyone's having a drink or a glass of wine, not that teenagers have wine, some teenagers do. Everyone's drinking and you're not drinking. People question you. They're like, why are you not drinking? All right. Or if you're at my age, like, you know, super old and you're not drinking when you go out to a dinner party, people assume you're pregnant. Not that males can get pregnant, but if you're a girl and you're not drinking and you're like in the age category between 25 and 40, that's it, you're pregnant, you're instantly pregnant, all right? And it's on social media already, even though you may just not want to drink, okay? Whereas any other drug, think about it, cigarettes, tobacco, vaping. Are you vaping tonight? No. No one cares. Are you smoking? No. Well, that's probably a good thing because no one likes smoking. Are you taking pills? No. Well, that's probably a good thing too. All right. But are you drinking alcohol? No. Why? Why aren't you drinking alcohol? It's weird. Think about it. Anyway, that was my little rant. Alcohol is very easily accessible. Okay. There are obviously very expensive alcohols and there are very cheap alcohols. Okay. So alcohol by itself, and I went through this in the earlier video on health behaviors. So it's just ethanol, all right? It is a spirit that they add to other concoctions to then make an alcoholic beverage, all right? So they put it, you know, with like wheat and yeast and stuff and hops, and then it makes beer, all right? Or they put it with like extract of certain vegetables, like potatoes, and they make vodka, all right? So this is the whole alcohol process. Alcohol itself is actually very cheap. So I can go to Aldi and buy like a bottle of red wine. Costs about $3.99, all right? And it has 8 standard drinks in it. I could also go to Dan Murphy's and buy a $2,500 bottle of red wine, and it still only has 8 standard drinks in it, all right? So it's very accessible is my point. Not that it's very nice, but anyway. And the other one, which we've talked about, and we'll probably go into a little bit more depth later as well, but we know that mental health concerns are rising, okay? There is more anxiety, depression, and mental health concerns related, especially with teenagers, and consuming alcohol does, because it's a depressant, slowing the nervous system down, it turns off some of those signaling that gets you in that anxious state, and it just calms people down. So therefore, a lot of people that suffer from anxiety then turn to alcohol as their coping mechanism. And you can sort of see how that's going to be a very, very bad cycle to get out of. I'll rub this off, we'll do some protective factors and my concluding sentence. Okay, so protective factors for alcohol usage as a teenager. So the first one, and I did it in different color because it's probably the biggest one, clear family rules and expectations and modeling at home, okay? If you are raised in a family environment where, yeah, your parents have maybe a glass of wine or two a couple of times a week at dinner, but that's it. They don't go out, they don't get like drunk, and you see your parents rolling in through the front door at 2 a.m. just drunk and then, you know, vomiting and doing all that kind of gross stuff that you do when you've had too much to drink, then that's not going to be a part of your normality in your life. So when you grow older, you'll probably just you're more likely to just have 1 or 2 as well, just to relax at a party situation or social situation, whatever, and that's it, okay? You still get up the next morning, play sport, go to work, get on with life, etc. All right? Supportive peers as well. So if you're in that situation where people are like, why are you not drinking? You're like, because I don't want to drink. And they'll be like, okay, cool. That's good. They're the type of friends you want. You don't want the friends that will be like, have a drink, shots, have shots. All right. You just want to have a friend or friends that support you in your decisions. Government policies is a really good one for alcohol. So you think about, like obviously the common one is the age restrictions, okay? So you're not actually legally allowed to buy or consume alcohol under the age of 18. But there's also greater taxation on alcoholic beverages, which is why alcohol costs so much money sometimes. But also if you look at like pubs and clubs, there's like a curfew cutoff now. So after, 2 a.m. or at some places even earlier at like 11 p.m., they stop serving alcohol, all right? So it's like last drinks and that's it. And then everyone can go home safely, all right? So there's lots of good stuff like that. And also the promotion and the increased nature of alcohol-free events, all right? There are lots of events these days that are alcohol-free, and lots of people still go to them now because everybody's not drinking alcohol, so you can all have fun together. So in conclusion, while risky binge drinking is still high, and it is a large cause of morbidity. So if you remember back from the statistics video, so you look at 18, 24-year-olds causes of morbidity, like injuries and accidental poisoning are up in the top 5, or guess what? Alcohol is the largest cause of that. It is trending downwards, which is good. A lot of the bad things generally are trending upwards, but this is trending downwards, okay? And it's slowly improving. So good job for you guys watching this video because you're part of that data that is improving. And that's it on alcohol. Thanks.